Hi, I want to share an analogy with you that I like to use with my estate planning clients about how trusts work. So I tell my clients that when we create a revocable living trust, it's like we've got a box that we're going to put your stuff in. And I say, think of the trust agreement as that we wrote all the terms out around the sides of the box. So if I'm creating a trust for myself, maybe it says, this is the Ellen Williamson Trust, and I say that I'm the grantor, the trust maker, and I'm the initial trustee. I'm the one who gets to manage the stuff inside the box. And during my lifetime, everything in this box is for my benefit. And then after I pass away, I want it to go to my people under the following terms. And I can name backup trustees who can manage it when I can't. So that's how we create the trust. But as I know you know, the next important piece of trust-based planning is to fund it. All those terms we wrote around the side of this box only to cover the stuff inside. So say we got to put your stuff in the trust. So for your house, the way we put your house in the trust is we prepare a deed. So in this case, it'd be a deed from myself individually to myself as the trustee of the trust. And now all those terms that we wrote around the side of the box cover my house. And then we can do something similar with my car, put the title to my car in the name of the trust. And each of those little cookies could represent a financial account that gets put in the trust and is now managed by the trustee. And maybe I decide to buy a beach house in Maryland. That goes in the trust too. So during my lifetime, everything in here is managed by me as the trustee or by my backup. And the backup being able to do it is a good form of incapacity planning. Another piece of that is that if I've got someone named as an agent in the financial power of attorney, if I become incapacitated and say my husband's my power of attorney, he realizes there's some asset that's in my individual name, well, he as my agent can go convey it into the trust and then manage it as the successor trustee. Now people come to me, and I know you probably hear from people that they say, I want to trust because I want to avoid probate. And when a client tells me that, I say, well, that's a goal. And in theory, if you do everything just right, from the time you leave my office to when you pass away, you might be able to avoid probate. If everything you own when you pass away has made it into that box, then the successor trustee is going to be able to manage it and distribute it to the people you named. Well, in practice, what happens is a lot of clients tend to think of estate planning as a discrete task they do once or a handful of times in their life, and they go take that binder with all the documents and they put it away and they don't think about it for another 10 years. And if that's what happens and they're not being reminded along the way to go through and update, make sure everything gets funded into the trust, this is what's in here right now as a snapshot, but I may go acquire new cars or new real estate or open new accounts in my individual name. And when I pass away, those aren't here in that box. So the trustee can't manage them. And so that's why I say any trust-based plan needs to also have a will. Everybody needs a will, whether it's intentionally the dispositive instrument or it's the backup to the trust. And with a trust-based plan, that pour-over will acts like a spoon. So if I've got this account that during my lifetime I didn't get around to putting in the trust, or maybe it's a refund check that was issued that I didn't have a chance to put in before I passed, or it's a wrongful death claim that only arose as a result of my death and I couldn't have put it in. Anything that is owned by my estate or in my individual name after I pass, that executor of the pour-over will goes, according to the pour-over will terms, distributes that to the trustee of the trust, and then it's managed by the successor trustee. So that's why any trust-based plan also needs to have a financial power of attorney to help out during life, and needs to have that pour-over will to catch anything that may not make it in during life. So I hope this is helpful. If this brings up any questions for you, let me know.